Hey, it's the girl Kdid coming back out to you right now. Hey kids, how are you doing? So as you know from the title, I'm doing a foster care video. If you don't know by now, I've been a foster care parent since, what year are we in? 24, 23, 22, technically 21, December 21, 17 is when I got my official certificate, but I got my first child in January 6, 2022. So my first child, I still have her. It'll be 2 years that I have her in, 2 years that I have her in, on Saturday, sorry. Today is the 3rd of January, 2024. So I had my foster care license for a couple of, not like a couple, but a couple years. Being a foster parent I think is rewarding. I think it's nice. I think it's cool. I like having it. To be a foster parent, you have to actually take classes. If you don't know, you have to take classes. Some classes are required every year, like the LGBT class, TQ class. The rest of the stuff after that. Other class we gotta take a sexual something class. I forgot the name of it, but it's like those 2 classes I think I have to take for New York City, I should say. Let me preface that also. I live in New York City, so these guidelines are for New York City. I'm pretty sure it's probably New York State, but I live in this New York City, so that's what I'm gonna go for. And those 2 classes for sure you gotta take. You gotta do a certain amount of hours every year to still keep a foster care license for New York City. Well, I think it's a New York State thing actually. New York State, you have to do your foster care license every year, which I think because it's a bigger city, I'm not sure bigger cities do the same thing. I think this is a bigger city that probably they do that, and so kids don't get kind of lost in the sauce, but it still tends to end up happening regardless if it's a year or 2 years. But I know other states have a 2-year thing. I'm gonna see if somebody could change that because I can't every year. Anyway, so I was planning to cut off, if you watch my other video, I plan to actually stop my foster care license, but I plan to keep my home open, not for foster care kids, not for respite kids either, but for only adopting kids, right? If you don't know it, let me just explain what foster care is. Foster care is when a child's in the system who's been taken away from, they could either come from ACS to foster care, and I think other DCFS is from different states, but New York City we call it ACS, and they can come in the system, their parents still has rights over them, and they can be taken away because of domestic violence, because they're not getting kept properly, different issues. Parent is in the hospital, nobody else to take care of them, they can be in the system because of that reason, and then they go to somebody else's home who has a certification for being a foster parent, and they go to that particular house. Adoption is when the parents' rights are actually severed. When the parents' rights are actually severed and they're able to take on as an actual child to somebody else. So it's not your actual child, but it's somebody else from somebody else's family's child coming to your family, and that's how that is. Respite is actually when a child in foster care, I probably should put it down in the middle, right? When a child's in foster care, but the foster family have to go somewhere or do something or need just time by themselves or whatever, and they want to, they don't want to have a child for a certain period of time. For New York City, I think it's 30. I think for my agency, I can't say New York City. I think for my agency, you can only do 30 days, I believe. And you go to a different home for time being, and when you're finished whatever you're doing, the kids come back. I've done respite care for the first time last year a couple of times because I went out the country and things like that. So it's a pretty cool thing. I don't think my daughter liked it as much, to be honest, because she came back a little bit of a different person. Certain things she don't like anymore because ever since she came to that person's house. I don't know what they did to her, but yeah. I don't want to say they're bad people, but yeah. But they seem cool in your face, but people act different when they're behind closed doors. So that's what foster care is about. That's what adoption is about. That's what respite is about. I want to say it's 30 hours, but I feel like it's way smaller than that. They have kin care is another thing that they have through a foster care agency, meaning that usually a friend or it could be a friend or family member of the person whose child got taken away. And the reason why they do it like this is probably the better way to do it. Times is hard. Bills are stacking up. And yes, you're gonna be a friend to somebody or be a family member to somebody, but if you don't have the money, like that extra income coming in, having an extra mouth to feed and taking care of this child, especially if it's a baby, they need Pampers, they need wipes, they need bottles, they need formula, they need all these extra things to take care of them. And you put them in foster care, you don't want your child in the system, the person who's taking care of your child actually get paid to do that service for you. Because you're the one who needs it. So it'd be great if you don't set up put your child out there in the street or whatever, put your child in foster care. if you want to, and that's how it works. That's how that system kind of works. I only explain that because sometimes people don't know the difference between each one, so it's better to explain it and then talk about everything else. So you have to do classes, and they do background checks to make sure you're not a pedophile, and things like that. I think they check for other stuff too, but that's like the number one key. If you have any harm against any children and stuff like that, because that's what they want to make sure you're not gonna hurt children. Like, you can't say I want kids in the house and you're known for hurting kids. It's like a person doing an adoption for a dog and a cat, but you're known for killing the dog and the kitties. Like, it doesn't make sense to do that. So they make sure they do the background checks on you. You do fingerprints and things like that. My background has always been clean because I just have to make sure I have clean background in general, whether it's kids or anything else. I got under my records, so I was good. They do home inspections. You gotta make sure your house is together. You gotta make sure wires are not out. You gotta make sure there's not access to kids to get hurt easily. Like, you don't have just things sticking out or cords on the floor or things that could fall off of things easily. My house initially was, because before they came to my house for the inspection, I decluttered it. But apparently that wasn't good enough. So I had to actually declutter my house. And I actually got to open a storage unit, and because foster care do pay you, I use the money from my foster care for obviously part of my rent, but also for storage fees. My storage fees is $100 and change a month. So if you want to do that, you can. If you don't want to do it, just throw things away. But I have like camping equipment, Christmas tree. I actually use my storage unit for people like, just stop using a storage unit. But my Christmas tree, my camping stuff, my summer stuff. I have a lot of things in my my storage unit. I have toys, but obviously I'm not gonna be not use it for now. But I have other things that go in and out my storage unit for, so that's why I particularly got a storage unit. It's actually overpacked now at this point. I might need a new one. Let's see what happens. But if I get a new one, it's gonna be more money. And I'm like, why? But that's how it is right now. So yeah. So that's how that goes. What else do you need? I probably should have wrote. I always have to write these things down. I just do my 40 before 40 list. Oh my gosh. If I would have realized, I would have, done it and then put it on camera, but I didn't do that today. Sorry. Whoever's watching, like, she didn't finish that list. I didn't. It's at home. I just didn't finish it out in real life. So sorry. What else do you need for foster care? You need to make sure you have space, the bedding. If you have one room, only one sex can be in that room. If you have two rooms, obviously, two different sexes can go in a different room. It's also based on age groups. So if you have a child, like say your child is 3, they don't want a 17-year-old usually in a bedroom with a 3-year-old. You usually want to make it kind of consistent with the age groups. My daughter and my foster daughter my daughter's 8, my foster daughter is 2, she could be 3 February. So when she first came there, she was initially in my room, but then after 2 years old, they have to come out of your room, out of the crib, and they'll put you over there. Because not all agencies do this, all agencies are different, and certain states are different. So when my foster daughter came in, at the time I had one foster daughter, and then I had the second one, and I had to let her go. But I was planning to get kids who are older than me, older anyway. I didn't want babies that much. But they gave me a baby. She was 10 months old, but I had to get a crib, and I had a pack and play because I had KK, so I had a pack and play from before. But I ended up they got me a crib. They paid for a crib for me. They set it up and all this stuff. And then when she got older, because she turned 2, they said before she even turned 2, because she was coming out of the damn thing, I was like, you're not gonna fall and bust your face in my room, so it's not gonna happen. She goes in the bunk bed with KK, and the bunk bed, they gave me a 3-bed. They gave me a bunk bed trundle, which is a regular bunk bed with a bed underneath it. And I really wanted drawers. That would have been helpful to get freaking drawers, but that's what they gave me. And they pay for that. They pay for all the stuff. They pay for the setup, and they pay for the bring it in my house. They pay for the bed. They pay for all that stuff for me, which I'm grateful for, because I only had one bed from before, so that couldn't work out. So my kid loved the bunk bed right now. So before she was kind of but she loved the bunk bed, staying on top. You need to make sure you have. They said to have the baby safety locks and stuff. I don't have that in my house, and they don't check for it. I think it's already foster parent when I don't know. They just didn't check for it. I think some other houses I've seen on videos, they check for those things for sure. They haven't checked on it. Make sure you keep chemicals away so the kid can get it, things like that. You just make sure your house is safe and sound for the kid, and any kids you're gonna bring in your home. They can come unannounced. My people they call me in advance, because honestly, if they come there and I'm not there, they're gonna be screwed, because to try to keep your house tidy as you can. I know with kids it's kind of hard. With my kids, it's kind of hard. That's why I got a smart vacuum. If you want to get a smart vacuum, it's great because it stays dropping food on the floor. It stays, I don't know where the dust, I be sweeping, I don't know where the dust comes from. So I got that thing to kind of help me out around the house. She, when the baby was a little baby, and she would eat, like I would leave her in the high chair and she'd eat food. She would drop a lot of cereal on the floor, so I had to thank God for the smart vacuum that cleaned it up. So I'm thinking what else you might need for foster care. Oh, I almost forgot this. You need to have backups. They give you backups, like not give you, you have to have backups, like people to pick up your kid, or something emergency happened with you. You know somebody who's reliable who can pick up your kid or can watch the kid for you if you have like work or something, like when you go on a date, you need somebody to watch. Only those people you put on the list can watch the kid. Anybody else extra, you can get in trouble for. They don't do background checks for those people. They need medical forms for you and anybody in your house who's over, well, everybody in the house actually gets medical forms. So if you have any adults in the house with you, they have to also go through the training because they're gonna be around a kid or be a backup and stuff like that. Like if it's a spouse kind of thing. But they need medical forms for everybody who lives in the house. They need to know everybody who lives in the house. Everybody has to get a medical form to bring in. But this is for New York City again. It's New York City for my agency. So you need to have medical forms. You need to know, they need to know all the bills that you have. So if you have a car note, if you have internet, if you have anything with a bill related, you need to know how much, they need all your pay stubs too. So you get them a certain amount of your pay stubs, which is usually 2 months, or that's bi-weekly. If it's weekly, you need 4 a month. You give it to them. They need to see how your expenses goes with your actual costs and see how much money you have actually left over and things like that. What else? They need to see the lease of your apartment or wherever you live, or I forgot what it's called for a home. The deed for the home, so they know things like that. So every time you do this, every time you renew, you have to send the same paperwork in. So you need to have these things like kind of with you at least once or twice, at least once a year. You know, have it together for yourself. I don't know why they want medicals for everybody. I just say like they want it for the foster parent, but I don't know why they need it for the child that you have, another child or anybody else in your house. That's what they do. You have to be prepared to go on doctor's appointments for the kid. Usually when the kid, depending if they got in the system now or if they didn't, like example, if a child's first coming into foster care and from that agency, they want you to make sure they go to doctor's appointments. So you have to go to doctor's appointments, say a regular doctor, or if they have a doctor on deck, and do certain things. When the child's 2, even though they just say go before as they get teeth, go to a dentist, eye doctor, these things. If you see there's anything wrong, tell it to the people or the doctor's office. I go to my private doctor. I bring KKs because it's much easier for me. And they can recommend you to where they have to go. And what else? There's medical forms, there's background checks. I said that don't do like that. I think that's it. I want to say that's it. I feel like that's everything that you need to be a foster parent. Again, I say it's very rewarding. If you don't have nothing to do, you have extra time, extra space. They do have a lot of kids in foster care, and majority of foster care kids are Black and brown kids. Well, to me, Black people are brown people, but that's what people say for society reasons. So to me, they have a lot of brown kids because I'm brown, I'm not Black. My hair is Black. Is it? My hair's not Black anymore. My roots are Black. The rest of my hair's not Black. But I used to say that, but I can't say that more. Anyway, sorry. But they have a lot of brown kids in there. That's usually their highest demographic of people. And please don't do it because of the money is not that great. Not for the headaches some of these kids might give you. Not for the amount of talking they have to give you. You can get a job and get more money than that, to be honest. They pay for childcare also, so if you need childcare for your kid, they do that, and they pay for after school programs, for like depending how much it is and what it is and how safe it is and things like that. So it all depends on what you need to do. Before you put them in any activities, you have to ask the agency, because if they gonna be a soccer and they don't have the, about safety reasons, sometimes it depends on if parents want to say yes or no, and things like that. But it's not worth the headache if you're not gonna take care of these kids. It's not worth the headache to go through all that problem and abuse somebody's kid. It doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, no matter if it's a kid or not, as a person, you shouldn't be abusing anybody like that. Another thing is, if you go on trips and stuff like that, you have to get permission from the parents. And if the parents say no, the foster care agency can override it, which a lot of times they did for me. I brought my daughter to Atlanta and to Florida. The parents didn't like it, but they did override it, because if I'm willing to take the child, they don't want to put the child at rest, because it's like, especially because she's so young, She doesn't understand, she doesn't know, and when she goes to people's houses, she be tearing it up. I mean, so it's not worth it. so very, because she be tearing it up. She's crying, and she really cries with me and going to floor with me. So I can imagine how she does with people she don't want to be around. Like today, because I think she was so used to being with me because of the break. When she went to school today, she started crying. Mostly she's not that kid who cries. Kiki don't cry for me, and I'm her mom. But this baby was not. She was like, she was crying. Not like full blown like she usually do, but she was whining. I'm like, the teacher's here. I'm like, there's a whole thing. So just be mindful of when you do these things. If you don't have patience, you can learn patience. I can't say that it's not gonna be all costs. Because my patience has grown with Kiki, so it grew even more with the baby. The baby has done some stuff. Because she's not my child, I feel like I can't do as much. It's like, I gotta be more patient, especially when she's a baby. But she be looking like these kids. They be looking. They know they should not put in that water, but they don't look around. They look you in your face and eyeball you, then turn it on anyway. That's the kind of kid I got. That's the kind of baby I got. She gonna look you in the eyeball to eyeball and still do what she wanna do. It's the audacity for me, really. It's the audacity. So if you don't like audacity, you shouldn't do this job. But yeah, some people get emotionally attached to these kids. I don't think I'm a person, well, the child hasn't left me yet, so I can't say. But right now, I don't feel like I have emotional attachment to her. I know she's not my kid. I know she's a foster care kid. She's not even an adoptive kid. So I feel like if I thought she was an adopted kid, I got that for a minute, and then they kind of, until the judge says something, I'm not getting my hopes up. Until that judge sign on the paper saying, girl, this is your kid, I'm not getting my hopes up, so. But yeah, so people get emotionally attached to these kids. And I'm not gonna say don't get attached to it, but just remember this is not your child. If the judge say they have to go home right away, they can, or whatever they give you, they have to go. They cannot just stay there. So just be mindful of those things, and be mindful of the parents, because the parents sometimes are the problem. The kids sometimes are the sweetest kids. The parents are the problem. And that's why they don't have the kids now. The parents are the problem. Let me say this. Not all parents, because some parents just generally had just a bad day, something happened, and then they took the kid away. That happened. But some parents are crazy. I know that from experience. Some parents can be wonderful people, but some parents are loco comoko. So because of that, I say do it, really go into it with open hearts, open minds. If you can't handle it, you can't handle it. It's not that serious. Like if you go in there for 6 months and this kid, whatever type of situation is messing you up, and you want to stop it, it's okay. I ain't gonna judge you, so it's all right. Have a nice day, guys, and I thank you for watching, and share me out. Help a girl out. Bye.